Welcome to the Fighter Index, MMA's unofficial fighter scoring system. In the main event of the UFC Freedom 250, the undisputed lightweight championship is on the line as reigning champion Ilia Topuria faces interim champion Justin Gaethje as one of the most dangerous matchups the division can make. Topuria enters as one of the most complete fighters in the sport. Sharp boxing, real knockout power, elite composure, and the ability to punish mistakes in every phase of the fight. Across from him is Justin Gaethje, one of the most violent and proven finishers in UFC history. A pressure fighter built on power, damage, and the kind of chaos that can change a fight in one exchange. The champion is looking to solidify his reign against an interim champion who only needs one opening to take everything. In this video, we're going to break down both fighters by looking at their strengths and weaknesses, score and compare their skills, look at their path to victory against one another, and give their fighter index scores. Buckle up. Ilia Topuria is an S-tier complete fighter that is built around technical control, layered pressure, and the ability to win fights in every phase. He can box at an elite level, counter with precision, wrestle when needed, and punish mistakes with real finishing power. What makes him special is that he doesn't rely on one path. He can force opponents into bad decisions anywhere the fight goes. His archetype works consistently against elite competition because he's both dangerous and complete, which makes him a clear S-tier fighter. Justin Gaethje is an A-tier chaos knockout artist that is built around violence, pressure, and forcing opponents into uncomfortable exchanges where damage becomes a deciding factor. He thrives in messy pocket battles, heavy counters, and attritional fights where opponents are forced to trade under pressure. His archetype is not about control, it's about creating chaos and making every exchange dangerous enough to change the fight instantly. His power and durability make him elite, but defensive risks and structural holes keep him just below S-tier status. Ilia Topuria's counter timing is one of his most dangerous weapons. He draws opponents forward, makes them overcommit, and lands clean pull counters with real knockout power. His second weapon is that he attacks the body exceptionally well, especially with tight hooks that slow opponents down and create openings upstairs later in fights. His third weapon is when opponents get too focused on defending his boxing, Topuria changes levels and forces grappling exchanges, making him dangerous in every phase. One of Justin Gaethje's best weapons is his calf kick, and it's one of the best in MMA. He's gotten away from it in his last number of fights, but when he does use it, he uses it to destroy stance, slow movement, and force opponents into slower exchanges where his power becomes even more dangerous. His second weapon is when opponents trade in close. Gaethje fires compact hooks with fight-changing power. His best work often comes when fights get ugly and exchanges shorten. His third weapon is that he's become far more disciplined with counters, especially pulling opponents into his right hand when they rush entries recklessly. Ilia Topuria's greatest strength is how complete and controlled his game is. On the feet, he's one of the sharpest boxers in MMA. Tight combinations, clean counters, and real one-shot power that forces opponents to respect every exchange. He doesn't just hit hard, he makes good reads. He punishes mistakes immediately. His defensive awareness is also strong, rarely wasting movement and staying composed under pressure. What makes him even more dangerous is that if opponents overreact to his striking, he can seamlessly shift into his grappling. His wrestling entries are clean, his top control is heavy, and his submission threat forces opponents to defend constantly. Topuria isn't just dangerous in one area, he creates pressure because he can win everywhere. Now I'll be honest, Ilia Topuria doesn't have many clear weaknesses, but there are still areas that opponents can look to test. Because he carries so much confidence in his boxing, he can spend long stretches in striking exchanges where volume-based fighters may try to outwork him or force him into defensive sequences. At lightweight, dealing with naturally larger opponents over 5 rounds could also become a factor, especially against strong wrestlers who can make him work repeatedly in the clinch and grappling exchanges. And while his aggression is a major weapon, it also means that if opponents can survive the early danger and the storm he's going to bring in the first round, they may have more opportunities to challenge his pace deeper in the championship rounds. Justin Gaethje's biggest strength is the pressure and damage he creates every second the fight stays standing. He's one of the hardest hitters in the division, with fight-ending power in both hands and some of the most devastating leg kicks in MMA. His striking forces opponents into uncomfortable exchanges because even a blocked shot carries damage over time. Gaethje also has elite resolve. He's willing to fight through adversity, stay dangerous under pressure, and turn chaotic moments into opportunities. His experience against top-level competition is another major asset, giving him the composure to stay dangerous in high-stakes fights. Even when he's losing minutes, his power keeps him one exchange away from changing everything in the fight. Justin Gaethje's biggest weakness is the risk that comes with his style. Even with improved patience, he still spends a lot of time in dangerous exchanges where clean counter-strikers can punish him. His striking defense has improved over the years, but he can still be hit, especially against precise boxers who stay disciplined. Grappling is another concern. While his takedown defense is strong, Extended control against high-level wrestlers and submission threats can become a problem if he's forced to defend repeatedly. And because he fights with such intensity, damage can accumulate quickly in longer fights, especially against younger, more defensively sound opponents. Now it's time to break these fighters down using the Fighter Index Scale. We break down each phase of the fight and score each skill to better understand the strengths and the weaknesses of a fighter's game. All Fighter Index scores are based on a scale of 1 to 10. Scores are subjective and can change as a fighter evolves from fight to fight. Here's how the Fighter Index works. Each fighter is evaluated across 4 pillars made up of 4 key skills. Every skill is scored on a scale from 1 to 10, where 1 represents a non-functional ability and 10 represents a rare or generational skill. Everything in between reflects a fighter's level in that area, and at the end of the video, those scores are combined to calculate the Fighter Index score to see who is the more complete fighter. Pillar 1, Fight IQ and Athletic Tools. The first category is Fight IQ, where Ilia Topuria holds the clear edge, scoring a 9 compared to Justin Gaethje's 7. Topuria fights with elite composure, makes sharp reads, and rarely wastes movement or overextends, while Gaethje, despite his experience, still fights with more volatility and accepts more risks in exchanges. In athleticism, Topuria leads again with a 9 to Justin Gaethje's 8, bringing explosive speed, fast reactions, and quick transitions between striking and grappling. Stamina is another advantage for Ilia, a 9 to Justin Gaethje's 7, as his pace stays sharp deep into fights, while Gaethje's output can slow more noticeably in longer battles. The one category Gaethje takes is resolve, scoring a 10 to Topuria's 9, thanks to his proven toughness and ability to stay dangerous through adversity. Overall, Pillar 1 favors Ilia Topuria. Pillar 2, Striking and Stand-Up Defense. The first category is striking, where Ilia Topuria holds the edge with a 9 compared to Justin Gaethje's 8. Topuria's boxing is cleaner, sharper, and far more precise, with the ability to punish small mistakes instantly, while Justin Gaethje brings more raw violence and pressure but less technical efficiency. In the clinch, Topuria leads 7 to Gaethje's 6, using tighter positioning and better control in close exchanges, while Gaethje's clinch game is more about creating damage than structure. In striking defense is where the gap becomes more noticeable, with Ilia scoring a 7 to Justin's 5. Topuria stays far more defensively responsible, while Gaethje still accepts damage as part of his style and leaves openings in exchanges. The one category that stays even is chin, where both fighters score a 9. 2 proven competitors with elite durability and the ability to absorb big shots without breaking. Overall, Pillar 2 favors Ilia Topuria. Pillar 3, Grappling and Control. The first category is wrestling, where Justin Gaethje holds a slight edge, scoring an 8 compared to Ilia Topuria's 7. Gaethje's NCAA wrestling background gives him a strong defensive instincts and solid balance, even though he rarely uses it offensively. In takedown offense, the advantage flips to Topuria with a 7 to Gaethje's 5, because Ilia is far more willing and effective at mixing in takedowns as part of his overall plan. In top control, Topuria extends that lead with an 8 to Justin's 6, showing a much stronger ability to settle positions, control opponents, and create sustained pressure once the fight hits the mat. The biggest gap in this pillar comes in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, where Ilia scores a 9 compared to Justin Gaethje's 4. Topuria is a legitimate submission threat with high-level finishing ability, while Gaethje's grappling is built more around defense than offensive submission work. Overall, Pillar 3 clearly favors Ilia Topuria. Pillar 4, Defense, Scrambles, and Ground Survival. The first category is takedown defense, where Justin Gaethje holds a slight edge, scoring an 8 compared to Ilia Topuria's 7. Gaethje's wrestling base and balance make him very difficult to control consistently, while Topuria is strong defensively, but is more willing to engage in grappling exchanges. In Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu defense, both fighters score an 8, showing strong awareness and the ability to stay safe when forced into dangerous positions. Off the bat, it gives Topuria a small advantage, 7 to Gaethje's 6, because he remains more active and threatening from the bottom position, while Gaethje's focus is usually on standing back up rather than attacking. In Scrambles, Justin takes the edge, 9 to Topuria's 8, using his explosiveness and wrestling instincts to create fast transitions and recover position in chaotic moments. Overall, Pillar 4 is extremely close, but slightly favors Justin Gaethje. Now, when you take everything from the 4 pillars and put it together, this is where the fight really starts to make sense. This isn't just about who scores higher in each category, it's about where those advantages matter most once both guys are trying to force their style. This is a fight between 2 dangerous finishers, but they create the danger in very different ways. One fighter wins through precision, control, and layered offense, while the other wins through pressure, durability, and raw aggression. In Pillar 1, Topuria gets the edge because he's simply cleaner in how he manages fights. With advantages in fight IQ, athleticism, and stamina, he's more likely to control the pace, stay efficient, and make better decisions as rounds go on, while Gaethje relies more on grit and surviving big moments. In Pillar 2, on the feet, both guys are dangerous, but Topuria's striking is far cleaner and more defensively sound. His 9 in striking and 7 in striking defense compared to Justin Gaethje's 8 in striking and 5 in striking defense means he's more likely to win the technical exchanges, while Justin's danger comes from more pressure and forcing ugly firefights. Pillar 3 is where the matchup shifts the hardest. Even though Gaethje has the wrestling base, Topuria's takedown offense, top control, and especially that massive Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu edge give him a much stronger path if the fight hits the mat. If Ilia gets this into grappling exchanges, the danger swings heavily in his favor. In Pillar 4, Gaethje finds his best defensive edge here, especially with takedown defense and scrambles. His ability to stay upright, explode through transitions, and avoid being controlled gives him a real way to keep the fight in striking range, where his pressure matters more. So this fight really comes down to whether Gaethje can keep it in a striking battle and force Topuria into extended wars, or if Topuria can stay sharp, control with cleaner moments, and eventually pull Justin into grappling exchanges where the gap becomes much bigger. Now we look at each fighter's path to victory based on what we learned from the 4 pillars. Ilia Topuria's path to victory starts with discipline on the feet and ends with forcing Justin Gaethje into a phase where the skill gap is the biggest. On paper, Ilia has the edge in striking with a 9 compared to Justin Gaethje's 8, but more importantly, his 7 in striking defense versus Justin's 5 means that he has to win exchanges cleanly, not by standing in front of Justin Gaethje trying to trade bombs. He needs to keep his head off the center line, exit at angles, and stay ready for Justin's big right hand and left hook counters. That's critical. Once Justin starts reacting to that boxing pressure, that's where Ilia can open up the grappling. Even though Gaethje has strong takedown defense at an 8, Ilia's 7 in takedown offense at 8 in top control, and his massive 9 in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu compared to Justin's 4 give him the clearest path to take over. He doesn't need to get repeated takedowns, he needs one strong sequence. If Topuria can use his striking to create those entries, settle on top, and turn control into submission threats, that's where this fight shifts heavily in his favor. Justin Gaethje's path to victory starts with owning the center of the cage and forcing Ilia Topuria to fight his kind of fight. Ilia has the cleaner boxing and the better defensive numbers, with a 9 in striking and a 7 in striking defense compared to Justin's 8 in striking and 5 in striking defense, so Gaethje can't spend the night backed up to the fence and letting Ilia Topuria control the range. He needs to hold the center, circle off instead of backing straight up, and make Ilia reset before he can build pressure. A huge part of that is going back to those devastating calf kicks that made Justin so dangerous earlier in his career and he doesn't use anymore for some reason. He doesn't throw them like he used to, but against Topuria, they're one of the best weapons he has. Damaging the lead leg slows Ilia's pressure, makes his exits less sharp, and takes away the base that he needs to sit down on his power shots. It also makes level changes for takedowns much harder. From there, Justin has to punish every entry with big counters, especially the right hand and left hook that make Ilia pay for stepping into range. Most importantly, he has to stay off the mat. With Topuria holding a massive 9-4 edge in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, plus advantages in top control and takedown offense, Justin can't accept extended grappling exchanges. If Gaethje can stay upright, force ugly striking exchanges, and make every moment dangerous, that's where his path opens up. Now when you put everything together across the 4 pillars, this is where the full picture becomes clear. Both fighters are dangerous, both have real finishing ability, but the numbers show a noticeable gap in overall completeness. Ilia Topuria comes in with a fighter index score of 8.1, while Justin Gaethje lands at 7.1. That difference reflects where the matchup separates most. Topuria scores higher because of his advantages in fight IQ, striking defense, cardio, and especially the grappling side, whereas control and 9 in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu create a major edge. He has more ways to control the fight and more paths to finish it. Gaethje 7.1 still reflects an elite lightweight built on pressure, durability, and fight-changing power, but his game depends more on creating damage and chaos rather than controlling multiple phases of the fight. So while Justin absolutely has the kind of power to change everything with one moment, the fighter index sees Ilia as the more complete fighter with more reliable ways to win over 5 rounds. And that's the full breakdown for Ilia Topuria and Justin Gaethje using the fighter index. This is one of those fights where the danger is obvious on both sides. Justin Gaethje always has the power to change everything with one shot, but Topuria's cleaner striking, sharper defense, and major grappling edge give him more ways to take control of the fight. Now I want to hear from you. Who do you think wins and how? And is there a skill that you'd score differently? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's break it down. Thanks for watching, and if you're enjoying these breakdowns, make sure to like the video, subscribe, and stay tuned for more fighter index analysis. Catch you on the next one.